Yo, what's good YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the Pokemon Battle Federation. We're at the end of Season 3, the literal end. This is the championship Awada Cup match against Sebastia and the Montreal Monfernos. As you can see, his team is potent. My team is also potent. I brought a little bit more hyper offensive this match because there's no way my team could outbulk his team. And I knew his biggest threat to my team was the Mega Absol and the Star Raptor, which you can see Star Raptor there is just 6 Pokemon, and I knew that as long as I could get rid of Star Raptor and damage his team just a little bit, that a Selgor could win this game for me. As you can see, he brought Heatran, Clefable, Reuniclus, Latios, Tangrowth, and Staraptor, the fucking monster. And I brought Garchomp, which is a defensive tank chomp set with Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin with Stealth Rocks and Toxic, Dragon Tail, and Earthquake, of course. I got a sub, perfect coverage, Mega Alakazam. I got an Akaberry, Scizor there with U-Turn, Bullet Punch, Agility, and Baton Pass. See, my plan going into this match, besides, just weakening everything for a Selgor, was to get an Agility up with Scizor as he brings in something that can maybe take it on, such as his Heatran or the Seismitoad or maybe the Star Raptor or something, maybe something with fire coverage like the Latios or something, and then I could use my Akaberry to take on the fire type attack after setting up an Agility, and then Baton Pass the next turn to my Life Orb 4 attacks Crawdaunt there, which I'll get to that in a second. But that was my plan, and then I have the Life Orb of Selgor, which outspeeds everything up to the Mega Absol post Mega Evolution, and then it has coverage to deal with his entire team, including Giga Drain for the Seismitoad, which was not brought. And then I have the Life Orb 4 attacks Crawdaunt with Crabhammer, Aqua Jet, Knockoff, and Crunch. I have Knockoff and Crunch because that way I can 2-hit KO the Tangrowth with or without an item. I'll get into that in a second. So I can knock off on the switch, and it does around 45%, and 40 to 50%, somewhere around there. And then Crunch will get the knockout on the following turn, so long as I have my Life Orb. And then I have a Choice Scarf Ditto, which was a thought that I probably should have reconsidered. I wanted it to lead off against the Star Raptor, and even I would risk the speed tie with the Star Raptor, but I ultimately decided that I was going to lead with my Garchomp if I saw Star Raptor. So I should have maybe reconsidered my Ditto for another Pokemon or something, but it actually was a good scout this match, and I'm proud of it anyway. And before we're going into the match here, in team preview, I saw his team and all of his Pokemon had an item besides the Tangrowth. So I knew Knockoff wasn't my superior play every time, as long as the Tangrowth was around. Probably Crunch. Depending on what was in front of me, probably Crunch, or maybe what was going to be the switch between Clef and Tangrowth. Because I knew, like, Reuniclus is going to switch out, Heatran's going to switch out, Star Raptor's going to switch out. Latios, depending on its HP stat at the time, would switch out because, I could pick it off with an Aqua Jet if it's low enough. But obviously, it would threaten me out with the Draco Meteor if it's not low enough. Anyways, we'll hop into the battle now. We got almost a 5-minute intro here, so let's get you some battle going on here. He does lead off with the Star Raptor, and like I said, if I even saw the Star Raptor, I would lead off with my Garchomp. And I'm going to set up my Stealth Rocks here as he goes out into his Clefable, his Bubba the Clefable here. Let's get the get the angle better there. And I'm going to switch directly out to my own Ditto to see what kind of Clefable this is. I'll be able to scout its entire moveset and see if it can take on my Scizor. And it reveals immediately that it can take on my Scizor there. And here I'm going to double into my Garchomp, predicting his Heatran to come out. And this is actually going to bite me in the ass because he's actually going to go for the Moonblast. He did not fear losing HP from his Clefable, which was probably a good play on his part, since he could soft boil it off anyway. And he's able to get the 2-hit KO on me as I go for the Toxic. In hindsight here, which is always 2020, hindsight will always forever be 2020. I should have probably just went for the Earthquake to get some more damage off. It might actually come into play later in the game. We'll see though. Here I'm going to bring in my Alakazam. And I debated Focus Blast or Shadow Ball here, but I couldn't risk getting hit with a Moonblast and not getting any damage off. So I'm just going to go straight away for the Psychic here with my Mr. Mayhem here, the spoon-holding magician, telekinesis using Trace Master. I'm going to go for the Psychic here. And it's going to, like, that cannot be Assault Vest. So I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball here. And I still don't think that's Assault Vest. It could be Assault Vest, but I just don't think it is. So I'm going to go for another Shadow Ball here, knowing he has no switch ins. And I'm going to be able to pick off the critical hit, did not matter. I'm going to pick off the Reuniclus, which, mind you, was the defensive Pokemon of the season. Garchomp, offensive Pokemon of the season, being used as the defensive pivot this match. And here he brings in a Staraptor and pursues me as I try to switch out. I learned after the match that he was Choice Scarf, so even if I tried to attack, I would have still died to the Choice Scarf pursuit. And here I'm going to bring in my Ditto, knowing he's Choice Scarfed now, and I'm also Choice Scarfed, and he's locked into Pursuit. I'm just going to be able to get a fair U-turn off here as he brings in his Heatran, as I did predict this, knowing it resists Double Edge and resists Brave Bird, and obviously Pursuit wouldn't do enough to the Staraptor for me to be satisfied with. So I'm going to bring in my Crawdaunt here, and here's where I'm going to go for the knockoff, when my superior play would have probably been to be the Crunch, as Tim Preview he revealed to be no item. And you can see it still does a hefty chunk to a fully defensive Tangrowth here. And I could have maybe KO'd there with the Crunch, but it wasn't worth the risk. And I'm going to switch out here to my Selgor, which is Life Orb, modest, mind you. So, very powerful Pokemon. Very fast, very powerful. It's got the Life Orb, modest nature. I'm going to be able to go for the Bug Buzz here, knowing I could get damage off on any... Actually, yeah. I predicted the Heatran, excuse me there. I didn't go for the Bug Buzz. I predicted the Heatran to come out, and I went for the Hidden Power Ground. And on this turn, I will sacrifice my Ditto here to see what he wants him to lock himself into. As I said, Ditto wasn't going to be much of a tool for me this match, besides scouting the Clefable and possibly having like a semi-war with his own Heatran, depending on his own moveset. But here I'm going to be able to sacrifice my Ditto and go back out into my Crawdaunt here and go for the Aqua Jet and pick this thing off. So I've lost my Garchomp and I've lost my Ditto. And he still has quite a hefty team I have to put up with here. And he brings in his Latios here. And I'm going to switch out into my Scizor. I'm going to switch out to my Scizor here and eat the Draco. Well, I wouldn't say eat because it still does over half. And he gets the special attack drop. So here is where my Aqua Berry is going to come into play, as he goes for the Hidden Power Fire as expected. And the special attack drop plus the Aqua Berry still being 4 times resisted. I barely live on 4 HP, and I'm able to go for the U-turn and eliminate another very big offensive threat, being the Latios and the Star Raptor gone now. So my team has more room for offensive pressure as opposed to being on the defensive still. And here he's going to bring out his Tangrowth, and I could go for the crunch here, or I could switch out to my Scizor, and I switch out to my Scizor and sack it off. Again, another hindsight move. I could have stayed in and went for the crunch, doing just over half, and then possibly KOing with another crunch after the life orb was knocked off. Possibly, not guaranteed. But I sacked off my Scizor and brought in my Selgor so I could get off the Bug Buzz for the kill on the Tangrowth. But this time he does switch into the Heatran, which is a good play on his part. Solid play in my opinion. And I'm going to be able to switch out here into my Crawdaunt. Thinking this thing was more specially defensive, so I didn't know if my Hidden Power Ground would knock out from that range it was at. So I'm going to go for a Crabhammer here, and he's going to reveal that he's actually faster than my Crawdaunt. So he's not going to be max special defense. So I'm going to be able to bring in my Selgor here and pick off the Heatran with the Hidden Power Ground. And a Selgor being my last Pokemon now has to deal with a Clefable and a Tangrowth. And I have coverage for both, but here's where the Earthquake damage on the Clefable would have come into play. If I would have Earthquaked instead of throwing off the Toxic, I would have been able to KO him here. And I would have picked off the Clefable. That crit didn't matter. I calced it before. And I would have been able to pick off the Clefable, and I would have been able to pick off the Tangrowth. But like I said, hindsight's 20/20. I'll lose to a great opponent. As I say, he finished the season undefeated. I'm going to take a moment to congratulate my friend Blue Victini on Twitter, Sebastian game. It was a fantastic battle. Very offensive, so it was kind of short. Not as long as some previous battles. I had one that was went all 60 minutes, and I've had some that were, 16 turns long. And that one was 22 turns long, but it was 22 turns of pure action, and it was like a chess match, really. I don't regret sacking my Scizor when I could have crunched the Tangrowth, but I do regret throwing off a Toxic on the Clefable. It's kind of a blunder thing, stun or die. I wanted to show him that I knew he was unaware instead of Magic Guard, because I'd brought SD Garchomp all season. But in hindsight, which is 20/20, I could have Earthquaked there, and the Earthquake would have won me the game. I'm not disappointed in this loss, and very happy for my friend Sebast, undefeated season and the title, even if it cost me a loss. But that's fine. It was a great battle, great friend of mine, great season for both of us. We didn't get to play in the regular season, and we wanted to play in the finals from week 1, and we both made it there, and we both prepped really well. His team was really, really fat, and it was going to be hard for me to get around. And just minor misplays is all it takes to lose a battle. And sometimes not pulling the trigger on some predictions that you got in your head can sometimes haunt you for battles to come. But I think this is a great way to end the Pokemon Battle Federation, and that's just about it. I'm not discouraged about my team nor my play, besides the Toxic play when I could have Earthquaked instead. That's about all. And yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up with that. And again, shout outs to my boy Sebast. He played really well all season. He had some close battles, including this one, and it really came down to the wire. And like I said, I'm happy for him. He deserved a win after a great season in the International Trainers League and coming up short in the finals. He deserved a finals win. And I look forward to our rematch in the ITL this season, Season 4. So, yeah, with that, this concludes the Pokemon Battle Federation Season 3. Thank you guys for watching and following and supporting this season. And if you enjoyed this battle, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and all the good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.